welcome to Rev Sports. I'm Gargi Raut, and joining me today for this show is Boria Mujumdar. After last night's incredible Paralympics opening ceremony, today we're finally going to see Indian Paralympians in action. Manasi Joshi, Palak Kohli, Sheetal Devi, among others, are going to kickstart their Paralympics journey today. And we have Boria in Paris, and behind him is the wheelchair basketball venue, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
And he was just telling me about everything, all the changes made in Paris, according to Paralympians, according to disabled persons. And it's been incredible to watch how the city has been suddenly turned into an inclusive, playground for all the Paralympians.
absolutely. I've said this in one of our shows in the past that Paris is not a very disabled-friendly city because it's an old city. It's like London. For example, when you travel to the UK, in fact, more so for the case of Paris, because London, if you go to the underground, for example, Gargi, as a specific example, you will see that, say, 200 metro stations, at least 20 will have escalators. At least 20. Here in Paris, if the number is 500, no more than 20 or 30 will have escalators. So you're actually talking about steps or stairs. And and that is an issue. That is an issue for people with disability. How do you take wheelchairs up? How do you walk up? How do you walk up with crutches or anything like that? I mean, you find it impossible. So when I left Paris on the 12th of August for India, my first thought was, how will it happen? How will it happen? I came back and the first change was at the airport. I saw a lot many more volunteers waiting there next to the conveyor belt to try and help people to get stuff down. That was change number one. Change number two, I went to the beach volleyball venue during the Olympic Games, and it was an outstanding venue next to the Eiffel Tower. Here, that venue has been changed to blind football, and totally transformed, completely made disabled friendly for blind football. And I was like, wow! So they've actually used the 12 days in between to do tremendous amount of construction. A lot of the metro stations have been spruced up, in the sense makeshift arrangements have been put there, volunteers put there, people are being given water bottles because yesterday, for example, was 32 degrees. So overnight transformation is not possible. Having said that, the city has done everything it can to be more inclusive. There is tremendous security. I mean, I can still show you this particular hotel, for example. Every day there is a police briefing in the morning. So when I walked out here for our show, it's great. It's great to see Paris getting ready, becoming more inclusive and more sensitive towards the Paralympic Games. This area, this Bercy area, it completely safe, because last time during the Olympic Games, the issue of pickpockets, the issue of other things kept happening. At least now. So here it's what, 7:30 a.m. in the morning at the moment. I came down at about 7 when you and I were in touch about the link and all. The police briefing was already on. So there are 100 cops right outside these venues at any point in time to make the area safe. So these are good things that they've done over the last couple of weeks.
It's almost as if, even more so than the Olympics, the Paralympics hosted by Paris is more impressive than the Olympics.
Yes, it
Uh,
is. Yes, it is. But this, you can make a mistake here. With the Olympics, you can still get away saying, "Oh, people will manage." But here, people with disability, they will struggle. And if they do, that sort of sets a very bad example. Yesterday, when we went to the village, that was an eye opener. We go to the village, and right at the gate of the village, there is a guest zone, and I loved it. You know what's happening? Every athlete, big, reputed, whatever, first timers, they're all coming out from there. So the Indian contingent was basically, people were chatting there. And the Chinese, the Brazilians, the Americans, they were all coming out. And it became a melting pot. So every time a big athlete was coming out, contingents from other countries sort of stopped him and started taking him or her and started taking photographs. And it became a photograph zone. And there was this European athlete, and one of the Indian guys started pushing his wheelchair. Another fellow started helping him like that. It was very hot, so some people were waiting there. Another contingent brought water out and started distributing water. It was little things, and it was around noon. It was fantastic to see. But the best part is India. सो ओलंपिक्स के समय आपको याद होगा गार्गी कि हम लोग खान इंडियन फूड के बारे में बहुत बोल रहे थे कि विलेज में नहीं है, एंड द एथलीट्स वर कंप्लेनिंग कि विलेज में फूड नहीं है। यहाँ क्या किया है, सो मान लीजिए ये विलेज है, सो मान लीजिए जहाँ पे मैं बैठा हूँ ये विलेज का गेट है। द मोमेंट द विलेज एंड्स देयर इज अ अपार्टमेंट बिल्डिंग एंड अ ब्यूटीफुल अपार्टमेंट बिल्डिंग। सो द इंडियंस हैव टेकन एन अपार्टमेंट देयर, वो ले लिया है पूरा पैरालंपिक्स के लिए, और वहां पे देव डन एन अरेंजमेंट विद द लोकल होटल। सो इंडियन फूड इज कंटिन्यूअसली कमिंग टू दैट अपार्टमेंट वॉट एवर यू वांट, एंड आप विलेज से आओ वहां से इंडियन खाना खाओ चले जाओ। सो दे जुगाड़ एट इट्स एब्सोल्यूट बेस्ट। कल अपने लोगों का जो वेबिनार था, सो मैं
हाँ,
वहाँ कंप्लेन कर रहा था कि यार इतना धूप है, कहाँ से करें, कैसे करें, वाईफाई नहीं है विलेज के बाहर, कैसे इसको कर लेंगे एक्सेट्रा। सो ऑल ऑफ अ सडन सत्यनारायण कम्स टू मी एंड सेज आपको क्या करना है। आई सेड क्यों? ही सेड आप वो अपार्टमेंट में चले जाओ, आप अपार्टमेंट में बैठ के मैंने नया इंटरनेट लगा दिया है, वहां पे जाके कर लो। आई सेड कौन सा अपार्टमेंट? ही सेड ये अपार्टमेंट आप लोगों का है, ले लिया है, इंडियन फूड कंटिन्यूअसली है, आपको खाना खाना है तो खा लो। ऐसे नहीं, ये सब कुछ नहीं करते भाई। आई फाउंड इट हिलेरियस, आई फाउंड इट एब्सोल्युटली बट incredibly smart. Incredible. So all you need to do is just walk out of the village, order your food, go there, have the food if you want or carry it back. Beautiful apartment, do your shows, do your internet, do whatever you want. They've set it up also for the media कि विलेज के बाहर इंटरव्यू करना है तो इस अपार्टमेंट पे आके शांति में एयर कंडीशन में बैठ के इंटरव्यू कीजिए। ब्यूटिफुली डन,
that's incredible. That's incredible organization from PCI.
ब्यूटिफुली डन। एंड
Yeah.
देवेंद्र खुद विलेज का जो रिसेप्शन है वहां पे एक डे बिफोर यस्टरडे वो 8 घंटा बैठे था वहां पे, 8 घंटा।
Oh.
सो एवरी टाइम एन एथलीट वाज कमिंग आउट ही वाज आस्किंग कोई प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है, कोई प्रॉब्लम तो
Mm.
नहीं है। दिस वाज ट्रिमेंडस टू सी। आई मीन they have gone out of their way to make sure that the Indians are comfortable, they are ready. And Devendra, being an athlete himself, like PT Usha, knows what it and a Paralympian who competed. Just the difference here is Devendra was an active athlete till about a couple of years back. So he has competed in Tokyo, he has competed in Rio, he knows this circuit very well. So he has
Mm.
been able to do it very, very well.
But that's incredible to watch how they've organized everything. The apartment, it's incredible. We have one comment. Arga Saha is asking, Boryada, how many reporters are there? And we were talking about this yesterday in our live that I think only 2 or 3 media organizations from India are there, and of course we are more
Yeah,
involved.
I've not seen anyone except Vimal. I think NDTV Vimal Mohan's there. Otherwise, I've not seen anyone. Vimal got in touch with me, saying that I've come to Paris. This was when? This was the day before yesterday. I said, okay, great. If you need any help, let me know. We've got 5 people from Rev Sports here, but I don't think anyone other than Vimal Mohan from. I've not seen anyone. I mean, if there is, I would be delighted. But so far, there are a couple of people. There's a girl from Assam who is doing work for IPC, and in fact there are 2 women from Assam, both working for organizations here. One for the International Paralympic Committee and one doing media work. Because Moshumi, I saw her yesterday. She was wearing a media tag. I said, "Which organization are you doing for?" So she's doing for one of the kind of corporate organizations and stuff like that. But otherwise, from mainstream media, मैंने किसी को नहीं देखा है. I've not seen, except Vimal, I've not seen anyone. But that is a problem. And the moment the first gold medal happens, whoever wins the first gold medal, and by the way, let me predict this today. I am predicting 25 medals. I've told Gargi 1 million times. I am now, and yesterday what I did was, मैंने वो 84 athletes का 1-1 करके पूरा 84 study किया है. And I've checked everything all of yesterday, and I tallied with Satyanarayana, Devendra, and a number of others. Basis that, I'm actually predicting 8 to 10 gold medals for India. I'm predicting 8 to 10 gold medals and 25 medals for sure. You can hold me to this. If you see
Wow.
my pin tweet, it is 8 to 10 gold medals. You can check my pin tweet, it is that. So this will be incredible. That 8 to 10 gold medals for the first time. We had 4, but 2 in Rio out of 4 medals. We had 4, 5 in Tokyo, and from there to jump to 8 to 10. And India will finish, Gargi, in the top 20 of the medals tally. I'm predicting that also. it will be a revolution in Paris over the next
That's
10 days. And
true.
the problem is,
Yeah.
none of your television anchors, the so-called stars, have even got a sense of what's going on. And they will, if someone wants to come from these organizations, any reporter, he or she will be turned down. We all know it. But the moment there is a gold, then the sports desk would be shouted at, saying, "यार immediately इसको लेके आओ, इसका interview लेके आओ." And मान लीजिए तुलसीमती मुरुगेसन गोल्ड जीतेंगे, ये तुलसीमती मुरुगेसन है कौन, अभी किसी से जाके आप पूछ लीजिए, किसी को पता ही नहीं है. द मोमेंट गोल्ड जीत गया, वो उन पे पीएचडी कर लेंगे इन 2 hours, एंड द 9 o'clock शो में उनको लेके आ जाएंगे. ऐसे तो होता नहीं है. And this is where we go wrong. We go wrong because it is an opportunity to be sensitive. It is an opportunity for inclusion. हम लोग वो करते नहीं है. But we will disrupt. And that is why the conscious call was to get everybody from Rev Sports here.
Yeah. A few more questions we'll take those, and then we'll talk about all the
Sure.
Paralympians that
Yeah.
will be performing today. Okay. Girish Ahire, are there any chances of medal from paracyclist Arshad at Paralympics today?
Yeah. Good question. Including, also para taekwondo. There is definitely. So we will follow both. Para taekwondo and para cycling are the two events where there are medal opportunities today. In Badi and this one, Sheetal's event, and archery, Harvinder is also there. In archery and badminton, they are the preliminary rounds. So no medal today. But in paracycling and para taekwondo, there are medal opportunities. अगर final semi-final पहुंचते हैं शाम को Paris time, I think 4:30. So we will keep an eye. We'll distribute the team. One will go to cycling, taekwondo, badminton, archery. That's how we'll spread out, so that Girish, we can bring you coverage of every event. कल Trisha joked and told me कि one of these events अगर हम लोग नहीं जाएंगे तो ये मेडल अगर जीतेंगे भी तो सेलिब्रेशन नहीं होगा, क्योंकि लोग फोन करके करेंगे, यहाँ से मीडिया कोई है ही नहीं. I said she's right, and it is also our responsibility now to try and man every Indian event and every medal so that we can celebrate every athlete properly. क्योंकि देखिए, सुमित अंटिल को तो सब पता है, शीतल देवी सब कोई जानते हैं, मानसी जोशी जानते हैं, सुहास यतिराज जानते हैं, बट बाकी जो एथलीट्स हैं, जो जो नहीं जानते हैं लोग, अगर उनको प्रॉपरली सेलिब्रेट हम नहीं करते हैं तो इट विल बी इनजस्टिस. And that's what I want to do. Watch the yesterday we met Bhavna Ben Chaudhary.
Yeah.
Shormishta did an interview. Unbelievable. 5 panchayats of her village had isolated her. They had literally ostracized her. They had thrown her out of the village. Her marriage was on the rocks of breaking down. She would get beaten up. There would be ill treatment. There would be, you expect every kind of discrimination and ill treatment. That is what was happening. And the only reason she plays sport. उनको एक ही चीज कहा जा रहा था, आप स्पोर्ट छोड़ दो, ये सब नहीं करने देंगे, ये सब करने ही नहीं देंगे आपको. इन हर विलेज पंचायत कमिंग टुगेदर, ऑस्ट्रेसाइज, आइसोलेट कर दो, एक रूम एक जगह भेज. Imagine, this is 21st century India. She did not leave her passion, and today she is here with Sunil Tanwar, who was Devendra Jhajaria's coach, to participate at the Paralympic Games. अगर ये स्टोरी नहीं है तो कौन सा स्टोरी है भाई? So if we have to document these stories more and more to make sure that the country sort of wakes up and celebrates them.
Absolutely. More questions coming up. Tanmay Saha is asking, why the symbol of Paralympics? Why didn't it get changed as proposed in Tokyo?
Yeah, I had sort of answered this yesterday, Tanmay. There was a suggestion that the Olympics rings and the Avios would be merged together. Hasn't happened because I think the brands, because the two organizations are different, and their monetary streams, income streams, boards, everything is different. But you're right. Clearly you follow your sport, and that's why you're aware of this. There was a proposition, there was a suggestion in Tokyo that the rings and the Avios will merge together, but it hasn't happened yet. They are now still side by side. But if you see, they are now side by side in every event. So Olympics, Paralympics, that's how the Paris branding is.
Yes. Arga is saying, kudos to Rev Sports for all the coverage. Vinay is asking, why did Jio take up the rights of Paralympics when it's anyway shown on YouTube? Asking this since we don't have Hindi commentary and no Indian specific broadcast.
No, I don't think YouTube and television are still comparable. And I'm glad that mainstream TV, Jio, is the platform for sport in India now. whether it is IPL, whether it is badminton, whether it is hockey, whether it is football. So to show the Paralympics on the Geo platform gives it a lot much more credibility and importance than it otherwise would have deserved. So take BWF. BWF, some of the competitions are shown the preliminary rounds on YouTube, and thereafter Geo takes it up from quarterfinal stage or something like that, or even from the start. Some courts are shown on YouTube, but the moment the Geo platform takes up the Paralympics, it gives it that gravitas that it deserves, that it's not simply on YouTube. And it is very important. Like I told you, if you now see Geo has a bit of a monopoly on Indian sport, and they show all the major events. They're putting Paralympics, which is critical, because the moment you put Paralympics on that platform, it gets that importance. So I'm absolutely glad that Geo has taken up. I'm also told that Mrs. Ambani will be here. So she was here for the Olympics. She was sort of going to every venue. So they are taking it as seriously as it should be taken. And as long as corporate India does that, by the way, all the jerseys, so you can see this is India JSW. They've got the
Yeah.
same jerseys for the Paralympians as well. So Olympics, Paralympics. It's good to see.
Vinay is also saying, I only know people covering Paralympics, and that includes Rev Sports. So kudos. Thank you, Vinay. Keep watching on.
Yeah, but you know
And
what?
now,
You know what? I mean,
yeah,
I know Vimal is a good reporter, but Vimal will be all at sea. He's one of my best friends. But you in an Olympics or a Paralympic Games, when 25 medals happen, how does he go to all? Like
mhm,
tomorrow.
yeah,
Tomorrow when Avani Lekhara plays in Shatteru, the moment you go to Shatteru, you're done. Because tomorrow you have a lot many more events in Paris. You go to Shatteru means you will have to leave at 6 a.m. in the morning and come back at 8 p.m. at night. Then you're gone for Paris. You're not there. It will take you 3.5 hours. And with a Paralympian, a little bit more extra time for your interviews and all. Unless you have more people, it is impossible to cover a games like this, however good you are. Vimal Mohan is a top-notch reporter, but he will struggle. We will back him up, but he will struggle for sure. I mean, I can say this, that anyone who's here will struggle, because if you don't have the numbers, a multidiscipline games, you need the numbers to be able to put out good coverage.
absolutely. And as soon as it happens that if you're in some other venue and someone else wins a gold, you'll be asked questions of your organization like, why didn't you go there? But these are things that are inevitable if you're a single person covering something like Paralympics. But now, finally, let's talk about all the athletes that we're going to see in action today, starting with Mansi Joshi. 2 p.m., around 2 p.m., she's going to play Indian time.
Yeah,
What
uske
are you
pehle bhi hai.
expecting?
I think 8:30 here is the mixed doubles with Suhas and
Huh.
Palak versus Nitesh and Thulasi. I'm predicting a gold for Nitesh and Thulasi, or at least a podium. So Suhas and Palak will find it difficult. Having said that, for Palak, it is a great moment. I mean, imagine a young woman, 2 years younger than Gargi Raut, uh, vibrant, youngest Paralympian in Tokyo, all of a sudden being told she had bone tumor which was fatal or could be fatal. And it was unreal to be told that it could be fatal. If it was me, I would have collapsed. Palak Kohli went for a surgery, comes back from the surgery of a bone tumor, then goes and starts playing again within 6 months, qualifies for the Paralympics in 2 events. She's already a medalist. She's playing with Suhas Yathiraj, one of the best, and nobody better than Suhas to mentor her. Indian Administrative Service Officer, DM of Noida during COVID. आप लोग सुहास का रूटीन अगर नहीं जानते थे तो रात का 12 बजे तक IAS ऑफिसर का काम करता था कोविड के लिए नोएडा में ही वाज द डीएम एंड देन फ्रॉम 12 एट नाइट टिल 3 AM इन द मॉर्निंग अपना बैडमिंटन प्रैक्टिस करता था unbelievable hai. Unbelievable story. Now, senior IAS officer travels the world. The government has allowed him to do that, which is kudos to the government.
Yes,
Fantastic.
absolutely.
So, Palak, Suhas versus Nitesh and Tulasi. Thereafter, everybody is in action today. Manisha Ramdas, Manasi Joshi. I think except Krishna Nagar, except Krishna, all our badminton stars, Manoj Sarkar, everybody is in action today at the Porte de la Chapelle.
I mean, Suhas's story is incredible. Not only is he intellectually up there, but also in sports.
यार उसका
Incredible.
संस्कृत श्लोक किसी दिन सुनना, वो संस्कृत में इतना अच्छा बोलता है. एंड हिज स्पोर्ट्स स्टोरी इज फैंटास्टिक. डू यू नो हाउ ही केम टू बैडमिंटन? ये अच्छा
How?
स्टोरी है. सो व्हाट हैपेंड वाज ही वाज प्लेइंग इन अ मॉल. वो मॉल में एक बैडमिंटन कोर्ट था. एक दिन वहां पे खेल रहा था. This was some years back. Gaurav Khanna had gone to the mall to do some shopping. तो इसने देखा कि there is this guy with a little bit of disability, ये खेल रहा है and बहुत
Hmm.
अच्छा खेल रहा है. So this was 6 7 years back. So he goes to Suhas Yathiraj and he says, आप क्या करते हो? So he says, I am, additional district magistrate or something. He said, अरे, you are an IAS officer. He said, हाँ. He said, but आप बहुत अच्छा खेल लेते हो, आप खेलते क्यों नहीं हो? He said, no, ये सब खेलना वेलना मेरा काम नहीं है. मैं आई एम एन IAS ऑफिसर, आई हैव गॉट टू डू गवर्नमेंट जॉब. ये सब काम नहीं है. सो गौरव खन्ना से ठीक है, नो प्रॉब्लम, ये मेरा कार्ड है, मैं बैडमिंटन कोच हूँ. अगर आपको खेलना है तो आपको पैरा बैडमिंटन खेलना चाहिए. इसे ये पैरा बैडमिंटन क्या होता है? इसे पैरा बैडमिंटन है, ये देखो क्लासिफिकेशंस है. यू कैन प्ले फॉर इंडिया ऑल्सो इफ यू आर गुड इनफ. यू कैन कम्पीट एट इंटरनेशनल इवेंट्स फॉर इंडिया एंड मेक अ मार्क. दिस इज व्हाट इट इज. So Suhas said, thank you very much, sir, but no, I'm not interested. 3 months later, Suhas Yathiraj calls Gaurav Khanna and said, मैंने बहुत सोचा, I want to give it a crack. आप खिलाओगे क्या मेरे को? आप सिखाओगे? So he said 100%. Suhas Yathiraj manages to do a request and get a transfer to where Gaurav Khanna is. Goes there, starts training, and thereafter his journey starts. And now to chhodi do. I mean, now he's world number one, going into this tournament as the top seed. What an incredible journey for Suhas Yathiraj. And by the way, I'm not boasting here. Suhas Yathiraj says he got to sport watching my broadcasts on Olympics and Paralympics.
Wow.
And he says it
Incredible.
publicly.
Yeah. So that's the impact you have when
No,
you
you do
cover all.
something consistently, people watch you. You do something with passion and commitment, it makes a difference to people's lives. Yesterday at the Paralympic Village, when each of these athletes were keen on taking pictures with us, I felt humbled. They said, "Sir, आपसे photo लेना है." I said, "मुझे आपसे लेना है." I said, "नहीं नहीं आपसे लेना है." I said, "भाई, आप लोग, each one of you are a story of inspiration." And you could see in their eyes कि ये लोग बोल रहे हैं कि हम लोगों के लिए इतना मीडिया ये लेके आ गया है. And for them it was a moment, Gargi. And
Yeah.
some got emotional. Couple of them were crying कि हमारे साथ ये कभी हुआ नहीं है. I felt so deeply humbled that can't tell you.
I remember when I was at the send off and the 50 days to go ceremony, all of that. Whenever I used to take the bites, they would thank me, and I would say, "No, why are you thanking me?" It'll be like, "No, thank you for covering us. Thank you for making our stories heard." So that's the humility that these athletes have. Uh, Vinay saying, "See, good on you, Boria. You made a difference in someone's life."
Yeah, I mean, you try and do that. You try and do that at every step, little things, and these things will stay with me. These little things will stay with me. Uh, so they were kind enough to give me these 50 pins. So people, some of the cleaning ladies here in the hotel, they've been after me for the last 3 days. India pin, India pin, India pin. So we came back and all of us went and gave them these India pins to put on their t-shirts or whatever. You should have seen the eyes lit up, and they were so happy. I mean, what is it? It's just a pin, an India Paralympic pin. That's what it is. But the intent that these guys actually came and gave us, sort of showed that affection, the dignity, the respect, makes a big difference to people. That's what it is like. Paralympics is a celebration of humanity and a celebration of the world's peoples.
And before we close the show, let's talk about Sheetal Devi. We're going to see her in action today. Incredible story, 17 years old, already at the Paralympics. And what are you expecting out of her throughout
Gold.
this? Yeah,
Gold. You're expecting gold from Sheetal Devi. I mean, her core is as strong. I mean, Shomishta did a piece. We did plenty on Sheetal. I've interviewed Sheetal in the past. Uh, she was training yesterday when we were at the village. There's a private training, this thing that they've organized for her. Sheetal is ready. Sheetal is absolutely ready. We will be at the Envalide today to cheer for Sheetal. The Indian archery contingent, Harvinder and some of the others will also be there. But we will definitely be there cheering for Sheetal. She's playing at 1 p.m. Paris time, which is around 4:30 India. But at the same time, it's a preliminary, so it will be the compound ranking round. Having said that, we will all be there for Sheetal. I'm definitely expecting a podium finish. And it will be a story. Sheetal Devi making a podium finish at the Paralympic Games at the age of 17. She's already a brand. It will be a tremendous statement, tremendous statement. I must tell you something, Gargi. I must tell you something. You can close the show with this. Yesterday afternoon, around 3:30, 4 o'clock, we were having lunch. Slightly late lunch because we were at the village before that, and then I had the webinar and all that to do. So we were grabbing a bite, and all of a sudden, this phone was there, and I was just eating. I was having a sandwich, and Trisha tells me, "Buriya da phone aa raha hai. Someone's calling," and I said, "ठीक है, बाद में phone कर लेते हैं." She says, "Ravi Chandran Ashwin was calling." I said, "What do you mean? Why? I mean, there's no reason for Ash to call now." So she said, "नहीं नहीं, उसका phone आ रहा है." So I said, "ठीक है, मैं उठा लेता हूँ." So I picked up the call. And by the way, I have tremendous amount of respect for Ravi Chandran Ashwin, as you know. You know what he said? The call was, it had nothing to do with cricket. Nothing to do with cricket. He said, "I am also a content provider now." I said, "Yes, right, and you're doing super." He says, "From the next Olympic Games or even earlier, the major events, I want to sort of go with you all and cover them. You need to
Wow.
help me do that." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I want to get into the Grand Slams. I want to get into covering Olympics and Paralympics. And because of your experience and what you do over the last several years, I want you to help me. I want to sort of come together. We must do this." I was thrilled. Ravi Chandran Ashwin calling to say he wants to cover the Olympics and the Paralympics. And if someone like Ash brings his heft and brings his fan following to the table for
Yeah.
the Olympics and Paralympics and multidiscipline sport, it'll be tremendous. So I absolutely told Ravi Ashwin, I said, "Boss, anytime, come and do it. Uh, you are competitive, you are strong, you are good, you have a voice, you have a profile. First, win the Border Gavaskar Trophy for India, and then start any of this."
Absolutely. And the audience that he will bring, incredible. It would be incredible for Indian sports. But on that note, I think we can end this
Yeah.
show. We've spoken about everything possible that we could have, but there's still a lot of
You and I will
action.
do this every morning, Gargi. I love this.
Yeah,
I love this in the morning. We'll do this 11 o'clock show every day.
absolutely. So join us every day at 11 a.m. India time. We'll be here talking about what lies ahead in the day. And of course, today we've got a lot of action in store. So keep watching the Paralympics and keep watching Rev Sports as well.